Welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show where we give you all the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Leading off the show today, Mark Ellis.
Welcome one and all to the Burbank, California studios. Collider Video. That was Dennis Tzeng. My name is Mark, and we are so thrilled you guys are joining us here on a Monday for Collider Movie Talk, here where donuts and Pringles are indeed the breakfast of champions. Ashley, who's joining me for today's show?
Where are there donuts?
There were donuts and Pringles.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Not anymore.
Dennis is also here.
Yes, I am here. I am super depressed because my LA Kings are out of the playoffs. But then I got to pick me up because Game of Thrones came back on Sunday. So now I'm going to throw all my investment and all my enthusiasm into just that.
That sounds like the winning play.
Yeah.
Also here eating a donut, John Schnepp.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Finish the donut, man. Get some energy. Get in here. Very exciting show today. And as always here on Monday, we like to kick things off talking about the weekend that was at the movie theaters. To help us with that is the one, the only Miss, Ashley Mova.
Well, guys, it's Monday, which means it's time for the weekend box office report, brought to you by our friends at AMC Theaters. Disney's Bear Hug at the box office saw The Jungle Book dominating a second straight weekend with $60.8 million and the #1 spot. The movie declined only 41% from its opening weekend and left Universal's The Huntsman Winter's War far behind. They debut a prequel to Snow White and the Huntsman only took in $20 million for the #2 spot. Barber Shop, the next cut, took in $10.8 million for the #3 spot, with Disney also taking the #4 spot with Zootopia at $6.6 million. The Boss comes in at #5 with $6 million. Mark, thoughts on this weekend's box office report?
Well, just like a Rubik's Cube, I can get a couple sides, but I never get the entire puzzle solved. I thought, like a lot of us here, The Jungle Book was going to retain the overall #1 spot because Huntsman Winter's War just did not look like it was posing a threat critically. People were not looking forward to this movie. It didn't seem like there was a lot of audience interest, and the box office reflected that, barely getting over $20 million. We are not seeing another Huntsman movie anytime soon. Sorry, Chris Hemsworth. Another swing and a miss outside of the Marvel Universe for you. We hope you can get back on your feet soon with those golden locks. Zootopia, to me, is the shocker because it's a great movie, and I really like it, but I just figured that if you're going to see talking animals at the movies this weekend, everybody was going to see Jungle Book, or you didn't really care about that dynamic. So you were going to go see Barber Shop or Batman v Superman or The Boss, but Batman v Superman just continues to disappoint me week after week after week. It cannot overtake Melissa McCarthy, and I don't understand why. I am happy to see The Jungle Book having less than a 50% decline because it deserves it. I'm glad audiences are going to see it. And when you look at the stuff coming out this weekend, I don't know that anything's going to overtake Jungle Book. We could be looking at 3 #1s in a row. Dennis, what stands out to you about the box office?
Yeah, obviously we all had Jungle Book going #1. It only dropped, I think, 40%. I think maybe the thing is why Zootopia still is doing well is, at least from my perspective, the Jungle Book is a little darker for some of the younger kids. And I think maybe parents have heard that from critics and other people that have already seen it and known, like, okay, maybe I shouldn't bring my kids to that, and I'll bring them to Zootopia again, or maybe they haven't seen it. Huntsman, yeah, I don't know. I actually didn't hate it as much as like other people like yourself or Christian, but I don't understand why they made it, because the first one didn't do extremely well, and it also didn't really get a lot of critics or fans enthusiastic about it, and they made a second one anyways. I gave up on Batman v Superman last week because I had tried to put it in my top 5 I think a week or two ago, and it didn't help me in my thing. I did not get all 5 though. I got 3. I swapped The Boss and Zootopia.
That's right. Now, Schnepp, what was the more shocking event this weekend? Batman v Superman not being in the top 5, or the events of the movie Trivia Schmodown?
Probably the movie Trivia Schmodown. It's more shocking. But, you know, revenge is a dish best served ice cold.
Yummy.
Huntsman is the one that's weird for me. I was waiting for the trilogy, so when the third movie came out, I was actually going to go back and see this one, Winter's Wrap Up or whatever it's called. But I guess I'm not going to see it, so I'm bummed out. Hemsworth, I guess you stick with a hammer. You don't need the axe. It's not working for you. I'm happy that Jungle Book is #1. I'm looking forward to probably seeing Barber Shop. And yeah, it isn't a surprise that Batman v Superman is not in the top 5 anymore, because we were just talking about it earlier today, how it just kept dropping. So it was like, this is its 5th week out, and it's not even in the top 5. So
Now,
you know.
I'm going to throw 3 movies at you, okay? I'm going to say Ratchet and Clank, I'm going to say Mother's Day, and I'm going to say Keanu. Do you think any of those movies are going to be number 1, or do you think Jungle Book is going to retain its hold?
I have a very sneaky suspicion that Keanu is going to be number 1 next week.
I'm actually right there with you.
It's
Now
going
that I think about it.
It's going to take out the Jungle Book. One animal will beat all of those animals, and that is a cat named Keanu. Because I just think it's gonna be something that we all want to see. It seems like all the trailers seem really funny. Key and Peele are amazing. Who doesn't love, like, we watch cat videos every day on on any YouTube channel, any kind of social media. You're watching little cats play. This one's endangered. You know it's not going to die. There's no way they're going to let it die. This is not a John Wick situation. It's not happening.
One kitty to rule them all. Dennis, you have Keanu overall number 1?
No, I hate to go against the Oracle over here, but I don't see it. I want it to be, but I mean, I think Jungle Book is going to still retain a big audience, and Keanu, I'm really looking forward to it. I love cats. I love Key and Peele. It's right up my alley. I just don't know how many people else. I know for the junket, they did the junket over the weekend, and they just brought, it was all little kittens that looked just like Keanu.
Oh.
Like, I don't know if you follow like Roth on Instagram or any of the other people that
Was
went.
that the goodie bag?
No, they didn't take him home, but they just were surrounded by little kittens that looked like Keanu. It was awesome.
Leave it to the dog person to make fun of a couple kitties. So, Ashley, what's our next topic?
20th Century Fox has released the final trailer for X-Men Apocalypse, showing a lot more of what we can expect from the May 27th release, including confirmation that Wolverine is in fact in the movie, as many reports have suggested. Along with the confirmed appearance by Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, the film also stars James McAvoy, Oscar Isaac, Michael Fassbender, Jennifer Lawrence, Nicholas Hoult, and Rose Byrne. Schnepp, what do you think of the final trailer for Fox's X-Men Apocalypse?
Well, me and Dennis just did a trailer reaction. I don't know if it's up yet. But
No, it'll be up after this.
Be up right after you see this episode. And to be honest, I thought the trailer, I think it's the 4th trailer. They had a teaser and then 2 regular trailers. Maybe this is the 4th one. It feels like it's a lot of trailers right now. It's pretty good. I wasn't blown away by it. It had a lot of the same footage from all the other trailers, kind of mixed and matched with some new shots. A little bit more of Jennifer Lawrence, kind of like really kind of playing a very dull Mystique. Like all of her line deliveries, like, we're going to war. We're fighting a god. I'm really bored playing this character. Everybody else is great in it. So, yeah, I mean, I'm still looking forward to it. Of course, you get the little snikt at the end, which, we all knew was coming. So, I can't wait to see the movie. I'm tired of the trailers.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I did love that thing at the end that we're talking about. So that was the big selling point of the trailer to me. Does it look like Jennifer Lawrence? Mailing it in is such a strong word. I'm not saying she's licking a stamp and going to FedEx with it, but it does feel a little weird. Like, you see all these reports where it's like she really wanted out and she did everything she could to get out of this thing. So she's just done with franchises, which, like, look, I totally understand. She's been a part of a lot of these big movies over the last few years, but I don't see that to the level you do. Dennis, is your take that she is just done with this series and is totally mailing it in, or do you think she's given a little bit of something?
I don't know about done with the series, but it's something I think John Campea and John Schnepp had mentioned before, and I hadn't really noticed it in the movie trailers until this one. This is the one where they focused a lot on her, and I thought her delivery, and I'm not one of, like I said in our trailer review and reaction, I'm not one of those bandwagon haters of Jennifer Lawrence. I still think she's great. I think she's a fantastic actress. I don't have fatigue with her at all. So this comes from a non-hater thing. She just seems like she's not that interested in being there, and those line deliveries aren't very good. But in terms of the trailer, I liked it. It was good. I think the last one the best. This one definitely had more elongated scenes, extended sequences. And the Wolverine thing, I think I really liked it, except for we kind of had already heard rumors that this was going to be in this trailer. We also already kind of knew that he was going to be in the movie anyways. They had that awkward, you were at Comic-Con, right, in Hall H?
Absolutely.
They had that weird interaction between Bryan Singer and Hugh Jackman.
Oh, those guys should not take that show on the road anytime soon.
That was not, they were maybe trying to improv something funny, but it was not. It wasn't working, and so it's just one of those things we knew was going to happen.
Yeah, but there's just something about trailers that I get really excited to watch these things. They're little 2-minute pieces of art, and while the first part of it I didn't need, because like we're all talking about, we're already excited about this movie. It's not something that we like, okay, this trailer is going to determine whether I see it opening weekend. I am over the moon about Apocalypse already, so I just needed that little extra treat. If I didn't get it, I was going to be fine. I was still going to expect to see Wolverine in the movie, but seeing this, yeah, it got me going a little bit this morning. I dug it.
Yeah, and the visual effects, you could tell they're improving them every time.
Every time. So hopefully they're
Yes.
done by May 29th.
Yeah. Right.
Ashley, what's our next story?
According to The Wrap, Disney has removed Marvel's Inhumans from its release schedule that was once slated for July 12, 2019. There have been a number of rumors of this move, with the latest coming off of statements Kevin Feige has been making during the press rounds of Captain America: Civil War. Earlier this month, Collider's own Haley Fouch spoke with the MCU chief about the Inhumans movie, with Feige saying, "Since we made our initial Phase 3 announcement, we added Spider-Man, which was a big, joyous coup for us. We added Ant-Man and the Wasp, which was a big, fun continuation of that story for us. Walt Disney Company has announced an Indiana Jones film for right around that same time. So I think it will shuffle off the current date that it's on right now. How far down it shuffles, I'm not sure yet." Dennis, do you think Inhumans will ever make it to the big screen based on Feige's comments?
This is something that isn't that surprising. They really haven't done any like big casting news for this. Also, if you guys, any of you guys, I still watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You know that Inhumans are still, it's a big part of that storyline. So weaving the TV storyline with a big movie, you know what? I'm skeptical. I think they may just cancel it forever and maybe make it into a Netflix series or maybe something on ABC, but yeah, I give it like maybe a 50-50 shot that we're ever going to see an Inhumans movie.
Well, do you think it's predicated upon how far down the road we go with the current Avengers lineup? Because that was always my read on it, is that they want to release Inhumans around the same time we're ending the second Infinity War film, so that we have something new to look forward to in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That these would be the torchbearers going forward, whereas we did have Iron Man and Captain America and Hulk and Thor and all these people. So if people aren't responding to it on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., maybe that was like a AA ball farm system kind of thing where, hey, if we put them in the TV show and people really respond to it, we're definitely going to make the movie. I do understand where Kevin Feige's coming from, though, is that we did not know Spider-Man. I'm sure they were already negotiating with Sony about Spider-Man when they made the Phase 3 announcement, but they couldn't possibly announce that, hey, guys, we're trying to get Spider-Man, okay, so everybody just hang on. And then, yeah, the continuation of Ant-Man and Indiana Jones being a part of Disney coming out that same year. So I think that it makes sense to push Inhumans back regardless of what their plans are the long term for it. I think eventually we will see an Inhumans movie. It just may be a lot further down the road than we thought. Schnepp?
Yeah, also Phase 4 coming, they're going to be announcing Phase 4 probably next year or the following year. The next, 10 movies from Marvel from 2020 to 2025. I think Fantastic Four will be back home with Marvel, and Inhumans debuted in Fantastic Four, so maybe they're going to make Phase 4 all about Fantastic Four and like all the different series, Silver Surfer and things that can spin out of that entire universe, getting it back from Fox. That's my guess. Because I don't think Fox is going to be doing any Fantastic Four anything in the near future. I think they want to solidify their base with XMen and playing ball with Disney Marvel, with maybe getting an X-Men Avengers team up by doing some kind of crossover thing and getting the rights back to Fantastic Four. It's all conjecture at this point.
Yeah, you're getting people really sweaty on
hey, man,
in the chat board
I'm
right
saying
now.
get sweaty right now. Start thinking about Phase 4, son. Fantastic Four. That's what's happening.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's leave it to the chat board, too. We don't want to exclude you guys. Let us know, do you want to see an Inhumans movie? Is that something that you're looking forward to? Or do you hear this news and you're like, that's really fine with me. I got enough comic book movies in the pipeline where I don't really need to see these characters. Dennis, does Schnepp's idea, whether it's Fantastic Four or not, does that make more sense to you as far as introducing the Inhumans in another proven or unproven franchise versus just releasing their own standalone movie and then having it go from there?
Yeah, I like Schnepp's idea. If eventually Marvel gets Fantastic Four back, that they relaunch and reboot that and then bring Inhumans to it. I mean, the Inhumans movie was supposed to land in between the two Infinity War movies.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now they've pushed it off. Maybe Phase 4, maybe Phase 5. Maybe I don't know when we're going to see
Phase
this.
never.
Yeah, it's
Phase 0.
That's right.
It's interesting too because we have you talked about Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Hulk, all those things, but now they've developed these other franchises with Ant-Man. Now we have Doctor Strange coming out later this year. Black Panther solo film, you know, I have a feeling he's going to be very well received in Civil War, and also with the Spider-Man thing. So I feel like they've got so much going on that Inhumans to them is not a priority.
And we have new Avengers that can come off the bench, too.
Yeah.
I mean, you have
Right.
Vision, you have Falcon, you have Scarlet Witch, you have all these characters that you could have a standalone movie with them, too, if you don't get the big names back after Infinity War. So there's a lot of stuff that Marvel's juggling right now. It's a good problem to have. If you're an Inhumans fan, you're just going to have to wait a little bit longer.
Right.
All right, now it is up for buy or sell. That's where Ashley gives us a topic, and then we say whether we buy it or sell it, and then we throw some elbows. Ashley, what's up first?
Ridley Scott's Alien Covenant begins filming soon in order to meet the release date set at August 4th, 2017. But many fans are wondering when we can expect District 9 director Neil Blomkamp's Alien sequel that was initially planned for release in 2017. The movie would bring back Sigourney Weaver's Ripley, ignoring the other sequels in the franchise and taking place after James Cameron's first sequel, Aliens. Stopping by a VMware event, Sigourney Weaver confirmed the movie will head into production after Scott's Alien Covenant is finishing filming and is really excited to reprise her role as Ripley, saying, "Well, I think it is. Ridley asked Neil not to make our Alien till after Prometheus 2. Ridley wanted his movie to shoot and be released first, but it's an amazing script, and Neil and I are really excited about doing it. We're doing other things until we can get going on that. I'd really be surprised if we didn't do it because it's such a great script, and we love working together, so it's just going to take a little bit longer to get out to you, but it'll be worth the wait." Mark Byers tells Sigourney Weaver's comments about the Neil Blomkamp-directed Alien sequel.
Well, I mentioned we're not going to be throwing elbows too much, but Schnepp, please don't hit me when I say I buy these comments from Sigourney Weaver, because it sounds logical. It sounds like, I'm not sure how that conversation went down, if Ridley Scott was cool with Neil Blomkamp. He's like, hey, so I do my movie, then you do yours, and they high-fived and went about their days, or there was a lot of negotiating behind the scenes, there was yelling. I don't know how those talks went down, but they went down, and we're getting Prometheus 2 before we're getting Alien Covenant. It makes sense logically to me, and Sigourney Weaver saying this. Maybe I just trust her because she's Sigourney Weaver, but I like hearing this. I like that her and Neil are in discussions. I don't think she'd say that if it wasn't true, that she has seen the script, she knows what the story is going to be, and she can be excited about it. My nervousness comes from a standpoint of how long do we have to wait? Because I'm cool with this movie coming out after Prometheus 2. Right. I just don't want to have to wait that much longer. I want to see Prometheus 2, walk out of the theater and be like, all right, that was awesome. Now let's get some Alien Covenant, and I got to wait 5 years. What? Like,
dude,
I don't want that to happen. Schnepp, do you see it that way?
All right, here, let me just fix some stuff. There is no Prometheus 2.
Okay.
Ridley Scott's movie is called Alien Covenant. So what Sigourney, which I love Sigourney Weaver as an actress, but I think she's going from some very old information where...
So am I, apparently.
Well, no, I'm just saying, when Ridley was like, look, we're going to be making my Prometheus movie, but now I'm calling it Alien Covenant. That's what his movie is called, Alien Covenant, and he's making 3 of them.
Yeah, that's going to hurt.
He's making a trilogy, so
hurt.
that's basically saying you're going to have to wait till you do your Alien 5 or whatever you're doing, your retconning thing, until I'm done with what I'm doing with Alien, which is not going to be like it for another 7, maybe 5 years. So they're not going to even get started with whatever that Alien 5 idea is called, if they ever do make it, which I think it's totally been scrapped, it's been shelved, it's been shuttered. It's like all the words that you could say where somebody basically ices you out and says, that's really cool. It's never going to happen.
Well, Dennis, I just did my impression of the LA Kings and got my ass kicked by Schnepp. How do you see this?
Well, this is with Fox Studios, right?
Yeah.
This is what happened. After The Martian, Ridley Scott called up Fox. Hey, I'm going to do Prometheus 2. I'm going to call it Alien Covenant.
Right.
I don't want another Alien movie coming out. And they said, yep. They called up Neil Blomkamp. Sorry, you're going to have to put that on hold. Right. I mean, that's what happened. I mean, after what happened with The Martian and how much money that made, and
Chappie.
Yeah, and exactly what happened with Blomkamp and Chappie, they're like, yeah, I think we'll go with the hot hand right now, and that's Ridley Scott. So I buy her comments that she believes this. I'm 50-50 on whether Neil Blomkamp is going to actually make it. I do think we are eventually going to see an Alien 5. I just don't know if Blomkamp is the guy that's actually going to do it.
Now, I was blinded by the light that is Sigourney Weaver. What do you guys think? How far down the road do we go with this new Alien trilogy that Ridley Scott wants to do? Like story-wise, how far down the path that would continue into what Alien was, what Aliens was? Do you think we're going to see that storyline take us?
I personally think it's doable because what Ridley is doing all these, I guess, kind of prequels to Alien. So Alien Covenant, and then the other 2 will lead right up to the very first Alien. So it's still possible that Neil Blomkamp can do his Alien 5 or whatever it's going to be called and retcon and not add episodes 3 or 4 and just do it from Alien 2 and have Michael Biehn and Sigourney Weaver in it. But it just feels like after 5 or 6 years that idea might not be viable.
Okay, well, Dennis and Schnepp sell it, and you know what? After having another donut, I think I might have to sell it as well. What's our next story?
With Suicide Squad scheduled for theaters later this year and filming underway on Justice League Part 1, next comes news about the Scarlet Speedster, aka The Flash. According to Heroic Hollywood, a casting search has already begun for the DCEU's movie that features Ezra Miller. Heroic Hollywood's editor-in-chief, Humberto Gonzalez, states that Warner Brothers is looking for actors to fill the roles of 5 comic characters: Barry Allen's love interest, Iris West; Edward Thawne, aka Reverse Flash; Barry's closest friend, Detective Fred Shire; Len Snart, aka Captain Colt; and Jay Garrick, who supposedly just has a cameo appearance. No official confirmation has been announced. The Flash is scheduled to hit theaters on May 16, 2018. Schnepp, buy or sell these possible casting rumors for The Flash?
Well, I buy that it's happening on May 16th because that's my birthday. What's up, Flashy Flash? Woo! As far as the rest of the cast, I don't know. It's weird because like I started watching this show. It's on TV now. It's called The Flash. And it's got all those characters in it. So it's just weird to me, but like, all right, this movie version, I'm cool with it being on an Earth X or Earth H or Earth B or 2 or whatever they're going to call it, whatever the Batman v Superman Issue with You universe is, whatever that is.
I don't think that's the official name.
That's part of
the Batman universe.
It's Earth. I think that's what it's called.
Is
I
it
think
Issue
Schneider
with
said
You?
it's Earth. Is she with you? I thought she was with you universe. So that's what it's officially called now. But yeah, I don't know even if Flash is part of that universe, because when he shows up in that movie, he's like connecting with Bruce Wayne through a kind of a weird futuristic dream, and he's like, help, stop Lois, and this, all that, kind of weird futuristic stuff. So I don't know how the Flash actually interacts with in Justice League. We're gonna find out next year, I guess. But them casting this Flash, I like Ezra Miller. I think he's a great actor, so I think he's gonna add something that is different from the TV Flash. So do I buy them casting all these different characters that I've grown to love in the TV show? Yes, I buy it. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with the movie version. I just really hope they just do a Flash crossover. That would be awesome.
Well, yeah, I mean, I buy that. I don't know that that's ever going to happen, but it's something that fans had to be prepared for. As soon as you heard that Ezra Miller is cast as the Flash and we're doing a different cast in the TV show, then guess what? You're going to have to fill out all the other characters, a lot of whom you've come to know and love from the TV show, are going to be played by different people on the big screen. It does show a level of confidence. It's like, hey, we're moving forward with not only the Justice League, but all these other standalone movies. So it makes the right sense from the DCEU's perspective, Dennis, because, yeah, we need to make a good Flash movie, so these characters have to be in it. And Justice League coming out when it is, we're going to set up the Flash a little more. Then he gets his own movie, and we're moving forward with that plan, right?
Well, it's strange because I have similar thoughts to both of you guys on this, but I sell it because I've just grown so accustomed to the cast on the Flash TV show that once the movie comes out, I don't know if I can distinguish it and be like, oh man, shouldn't that be Grant Gustin as the Flash? Shouldn't be these all the actors and characters that I've grown to like on the show? Now, I know most of the people that are going to watch the movie will not have seen the TV show, but at least myself and probably with the millions of other people that have seen it that go there, they're going to be a little bit like, man, I wish, so-and-so was in it. But obviously, they're doing a different take, and I'm sure when it comes out, it'll be fine. But at least right now, all I can picture is all the actors from the TV show.
This may be a better question for our sister crew on TV Talk, but how do people like me who've never seen an episode of The Flash, how do you catch up? Is it a show you can just start watching and just pick up right away, or do you need to do all the back research with it?
I'll say it's worth doing the back research. It's only 2 seasons in, and I watched the first 5 episodes while I was on a plane. I was on Virgin America, and I was like, everyone had been talking about it, and I was like, God, I got to watch this. And I instantly clicked right in. I couldn't wait to see the rest of the season. It's a really well-made television show, so I get to say you could easily go through season 1 in 2 weeks, even if you only watch 2 episodes a night or whatever. So.
I saw some clips of Mark Hamill in it, and I really liked that. And then I saw the shark guy, and I was like, yeah, I gotta see.
You're on board.
Well, because I was expecting to see the most ridiculous image. I was expecting to see Sharknado. and it actually ended up looking pretty cool.
pretty
and I'm
cool.
like, if you can make a shark out of water running around the streets of a city look decent, it's a credit to your TV show. So I'll do some research. Okay, Ashley, what's up next?
Deadline reports that Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg are set to reprise their roles as the mismatched stepdad and dad, respectively, in a sequel to Daddy's Home. Plot details on the sequel are currently under wraps, with Sean Anders and John Morris also returning to write the script, with Anders back to direct. Daddy's Home was released on Christmas of last year and has since made 240 worldwide, so it's no surprise that a sequel has been ordered. Dennis, buy or sell a Daddy's Home sequel?
Surprisingly, I'm going to buy it. It was a movie that I didn't really have high expectations for, and I went to go see it, and it wasn't like best comedy of the year or anything, but I actually enjoyed myself. I was a lot more entertained than I was expecting, and I think the audiences responded well to it because it did pretty well. It made 150 million domestically, another 90 million overseas, so it's a kind of a no-brainer. And you have Wahlberg and Will Ferrell kind of have a chemistry going on. They had the other guys, and now they had this, and so I don't see why not.
Yeah, I'm going to buy it. The only part of the story I'm selling is that plot details are currently under wraps. Like, oh man,
yeah.
this script is
Spoiler,
so super
spoiler.
secret. We're going to find out who Mark Wahlberg's father is in it, and you can only read the script with a black light. Like, it's just they just haven't finished it yet. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense. The movie made a lot of money. I have not seen Daddy's Home. I was looking forward to it. Comes out around Christmas, and my movie-going dollar was occupied by a little movie called Star Wars, and I had no time for any movie named otherwise. Maybe I should see it. Schnepp, did you check out Daddy's Home?
I actually saw Daddy's Home, and I think you would appreciate it and laugh out loud. I thought it was great. I laughed.
Really?
I was shocked at how much I liked the film. It was really funny, and I buy that they're making a sequel because I think they did a great job with the first one. They did a really solid job of establishing both characters, and both characters are already movie stars in their own right. They've done one movie together. They do have a great chemistry, and in this one, they're like basically fighting each other to win the heart. The heart, one's already got the heart, but the other one wants to get it back of the former wife. So it's sort of like it's this tug of war that's going on. It's really fun. So I'm glad they're doing a sequel.
I laughed at the trailers. Now the news that they're doing a sequel means the first movie must be good enough for me to want to enjoy. Ashley, did you see Daddy's Home? Do you want to see Daddy's Home?
I want to see it. I just saw that it was on demand, and I was about to watch it, but then I didn't. But I'm excited. I'm excited for it. I should see it.
Okay, well, click it, and then let's talk about a movie that I know all four of us are going to go enjoy in the theaters together.
As filming continues on the Baywatch movie adaptation starring The Rock and Zac Efron, it looks like they finally nailed down a commitment from the most popular Baywatch alum next to David Hasselhoff, Pamela Anderson. The actress is officially on board with Dwayne Johnson, making an announcement on his Instagram account saying, "She introduced the world to CJ Parker and became one of the most iconic characters of a generation for the most successful TV show of all time."
What? Easy there,
A
Dwayne.
pleasure to welcome, as gorgeous as ever, Pamela Anderson to our hashtag Baywatch cast. Baywatch is directed by Horrible Bosses director Seth Gordon and will hit theaters on May 19, 2017. Mark Barisell, Pamela Anderson, and her boobies in the Baywatch movie with The Rock.
I buy whatever absinthe is going around that set that makes The Rock think that the Baywatch TV show is the most successful TV series of all time. How can it possibly? What metric are you using?
I think it's like
ratings?
worldwide.
Yeah,
I think
worldwide.
international.
The metric we're
it's
using
like
is
that show. What is that? Top Car, Top Shift, or what? Top
Right.
Gear,
Top
whatever,
everything.
The thing that like it's not big here,
Yeah.
but it's big internationally.
We're talking about globally, Mark, just outside of America. I know, there's a
So
whole other
Baywatch and
world.
soccer are just these
Yes.
two huge things.
They
So
are.
yeah,
It is the most successful TV show of all time.
okay, fine.
The Rock
I don't
has
like
smelled
it.
what he's cooking, and he's cooking the most successful
I
TV
apologize.
adaptation
I
of
ever
all
went
time.
against The Rock, but I like Baywatch. Okay, one of the reasons why Baywatch is the most successful TV show of all time is, well, there's two big reasons, and they both belong to Pamela Anderson. I mean, that it was a part of everybody's childhood. Okay, for better or for worse, we saw Pamela Anderson. It's like I need to see more of whatever that show is providing. So it makes total sense, and I know that Pamela Anderson. I'm sure she's busy with a lot of different things. She was able to clear her schedule to be in the Baywatch movie. You could have done a Baywatch movie without her, but it would have been a little weird. Like you would have had to do like a framing her picture or something, like on a desk somewhere. Like, oh yeah, it's too bad that shark from The Flash got a hold of her and killed her. But it's nice to see her back in Baywatch. And whether this is going to be the most successful movie of all time is a different story. But it's going to be fun to see her in it, right, Dennis?
Yeah, I'm gonna buy her. I mean, you're right. She wasn't absolutely necessary for the movie. They can make the movie and it'll be just fine. It kind of reminds me of with 21 Jump Street. They had the Johnny Depp cameo. It was cool. It was fun to see him in there. it wouldn't have ruined the movie if he wasn't. So I think having her, and then I think they already have David Hasselhoff in there. It's just a nice little nod, homage. I hope they play the same characters though, that they're just kind of retired lifeguards and not just like a stupid cameo where like I think the Ghostbusters ones they're doing where maybe like they're like a hot dog vendor or something like that. I hope it's not that thing.
Schnepp, I know you're more of an empty nest Golden Girls kind of guy, but Baywatch, do you like the fact that the movie's happening with Pamela Anderson?
I most certainly do. I gotta say, Baywatch Nights, if you remember that, it got all spooky, and Kolchak, the Night Stalker, they're like investigating aliens and stuff. That's when Hasselhoff like lost his mind. He's like, I can make Baywatch anything. Now I'm a detective and I'm searching after squid monsters. That is not one of the most successful television franchises in the globe.
No, it wasn't.
Baywatch is because it went global. Everyone, syndication is why The Rock is talking. What he's talking about.
Okay.
It's the crazy syndication that because they made so many seasons of Baywatch, and everyone was like, I must watch Pamela Anderson. And to a lesser degree, David Hasselhoff.
And Nicole Eggert was great on the show.
Everyone, Baywatch was a fun show. I remember watching it when I was in college, and I was like, oh, it's goofy and stupid, like F Troop meets like Silver Spoons or something, or the A-Team. It's like this kind of thing where you like watch it, it's consumable, it doesn't matter. Oh, they saved that person this time. Oh, there's some kind of conflict. So that's what I think this movie's going to be. It's going to be like the best of like 5 of the episodes of Baywatch kind of mixed together. And I think Hasselhoff and Pamela Anderson will be playing themselves. That only makes sense. So I buy it.
Yeah, now that I think about it, like it makes sense because that's unlike a really popular sitcom like Seinfeld or Cheers, something like that. You can watch Baywatch with the sound off and get pretty much the same amount of enjoyment. You have to speak English to get Baywatch.
Yes.
It doesn't need to be dubbed in your language.
Probably why it did so well internationally.
It's probably actually better if you watch
You
it
see
with
somebody
the sound
drowning,
off.
see a bunch of hot people run and save them every week.
All right, and with that, we are going to move on to Mailbag. Mailbag is a part of the show where we hear from you guys. You guys want to send us an email and get it read on the air by Ashley. Email us at collidervideo@gmail.com. And since we did the call to action last week about we want more mailbags, we want an improved mailbag for you guys, these questions were awesome. Thank you guys so much. It was really hard to narrow down the choices. And later on today, we're going to take some time for your live Twitter questions. Tweet us at Collider Video, and Ashley's going to be reading a couple of those as well. So, Ashley, what's in the mailbox first?
Answer Leone writes, Hey Collider crew, wanted to let you know I started watching you recently, and ever since I have been a bit more critical when watching movies. I was wondering, what do you guys consider as your most iconic shots in a movie/movies? I have 2. When the camera goes around all the Avengers in the Battle of NY in Avengers. 2, at the end of Casino Royale when Bond captures Mr. White and comes down the stairs all suited up, gun in hand. Thanks and keep up the good work.
I got one that I'm looking at right over there on the Schmoes set, and that would be the Shawshank Redemption when he's just standing. He crawled through all that crap, and he's just looking up, and he's got the rain coming down on him. Everybody wants to feel like that at some point in their lives, but my favorite shot in a movie of all time is the end of the first Die Hard when John McClane is jumping off the roof. This is his only option. It's his last resort. He ties the fire hose to himself, and as he's jumping off, it explodes. The roof blows up in the background, and it is just one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It still holds up today. It looks so realistic. You see all of the things that this guy's just gone through on his face. It's a great action. It's the best action movie of all time, and it's the best scene in the best action movie of all time, in my humble opinion. Schnepp, what do you got?
Got a couple of shots. I mean, for me, like iconic shots are inside the movie while it's happening. You're like, oh my god! Like, let's say Martin Sheen coming out of the water in Apocalypse Now. At the end of the very end of Apocalypse Now, you have this one incredible shot that's like, he's gonna go. He's fulfilling his role as an assassin. A shot from Raiders of the Lost Ark when they're doing a dig, and it's just like that really beautiful golden sunset. It's just like everything's orange, and it's Indiana Jones and a couple other dudes, and it's like it's all just the wind is blowing, and he's like fixing his hat. I just remember that. Another shot from like 2001 when the ape like throws that bone up in the air and it transforms into a spaceship.
Yeah.
Those are shots that come up, like pop off when I think about it.
Okay, Denny's what? Denny's?
Denny's breakfast, Grand Slam,
Yum.
2 bacon
Yes.
pieces, sausage, patty.
I gotta go with
Love it.
moons
McMuffin.
over my hammy.
No, it's all about the
vegetarian
Grand
style.
Slam.
Are we? Is it 4 a.m. and are you drunk?
I
right
have
now,
all. I mean,
Marcel?
that's neither here nor there.
Because that's usually when you go to Denny's,
That's
right?
right.
It's
4 a.m. drunk.
Yeah.
Order all the breakfast.
You got nothing else is open. You just got. You're like, all right,
I need
whatever.
something drizzled.
You know
with
what?
Something else.
I was an Air Force brat, so we moved like all over the country constantly. And Friday night out, the Ellis household, we always went to Denny's.
Awesome.
It was like a great memory, and that's why I brought it up, Dennis, to share a homemade memory with you.
Thanks for sharing.
So, Dennis, what are some of your favorite movie shots of all time?
I'm surprised you didn't mention Empire Strikes Back. When
It's totally in there.
Luke and Vader are on Bespin, John Roca. It's the shadows of them
Just
They have
standing, sizing each other up.
You have like it's the steps are like orange lit.
Yes.
The background's blue with all the smoke coming out, and the lightsabers
Hell
out.
yeah.
That's got to be one.
That's definitely one.
Jack Nicholson in The Shining when he goes through the door, he's like, "Here's Johnny."
Yeah.
And two of my personal favorite ones. Well, I mean, almost everything in Lawrence of Arabia, but at the end of L.A. Confidential, when Guy Pearce takes in his badge and he raises it up, and James Cromwell's like dead on the ground, the police cars are coming.
Yeah.
Also, The Wrestler, the last shot when he leaps, Mickey Rourke leaps off of the ropes. And then he flies across, and he just kind of exits frame, and then all you see is just like the empty space.
Hey, I'll say you mentioned Mickey Rourke. Shot just came into my head from Sin City as Marv when he like just takes the cop car and goes into the water, and he's just kind of swimming. For me, it's like such an iconic, perfect shot, ripped right out of the comic book. I remember when I was sitting in the theater seeing, I was like, my God, it's like the comic come to life. It's one of those things.
I got one in a comedy that it's so ridiculously stupid, but the end of Hot Shots when Charlie Sheen says "So long, Saddam" and he drops the bomb on Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein, he's lying on a sun chair drinking lemonade, and then he just catches this huge bomb as he spits the lemonade out. YouTube it right now. It is hysterical. It's definitely gonna make you laugh out loud.
E.T. when Elliot and E.T. are in the bike and they're flying and they're crossing.
Oh, the
moon.
moonshot,
Yeah,
the Amblin
moonshot.
Entertainment. Yeah, of course. Very good.
So.
That's a better way to end it than Hot Shots,
Yes.
but I like mine. Okay, Ashley, what's our next mailbag question?
Ansley Rosen writes, "Hey Collider, I'm a huge fan of the show, and after watching The Green Mile for the first time, I have a question for you. If you are on death row and instead of a last dinner request, there was a last movie request, and you could only pick one movie to watch before you die, which would you pick?" I would probably go the Fight Club route to remind me that I am not a beautiful or unique snowflake. My death does not matter.
Oh,
Or I
that's
would
nice.
pick a movie that gives me joy, like Almost Famous. I'm not really sure. What about you? Love you guys and thanks.
Okay, well, Ashley, prepare yourself because we are going back to you for this question as well.
Okay.
I mean, my death row meal is easy. Denny's. As far as a movie, God, that is a tough call because I'm going one of two ways with this. I either want to see a movie that is so going to totally make me believe in an afterlife and everything's going to be okay, then I'm forgiven for whatever sin got me onto death row in the first place. That's what we're not talking about here.
Sins, more like sins.
How did
Right.
we end up on death row?
Like lot asses.
Sins.
Yeah, like we just
Yeah.
roll out of bed, talk movies, and go back to sleep. Like, what did we do that was so bad that got us on death row? I
You
wanna
didn't
see-
like a particular movie,
Yeah.
Ellis.
Yeah,
That's what it was. You
That's
didn't like
right.
a movie, and therefore you have a lesson. In
I
your
haven't
life.
officially done my review for Civil War. So, oh man, I hated Civil War so much that now I'm going to be on death row. It's not real. I actually loved it. So I want to see something that's going to make me believe in like heaven or something like that. Maybe like a Flatliners might be kind of a cool way to go out. Or I want to see something that just inspires me, that just makes me feel like $1 million walking down death row. So I would go to a sports film. I would either take Rocky. I might take Rocky 4. Or I might take Rudy. I think I'd probably end up going with Rudy because I want to feel good one last time before I get that injection or go to the chair. I think I'd rather go to the chair than injection, personally. Schnepp, there's a lot of questions, okay?
Yeah.
I want your movie. I want your form of death. I want to know what you did that was so bad that got you on death row in the first place.
Okay.
And I also want to know what are you going to eat while you're watching that movie?
All right, well, the person who asked the question said instead of your last dinner, you get to see a movie. I say, look, man, I'm going to eat and watch the movie at the same
Popcorn,
time.
yeah. I mean, you could have your choice
Yeah.
of movie theater
I'm going to
food.
have a giant bowl of Cheerios. And I think,
What? That's
and the
your death row
reason
meal.
I am going to death row is because I saved the moon. Sometime in the near future, the moon is going to be taken over hostily by a corporation, and I'm going to save it.
Oh, and then the corporation.
The corporation is still in power, and they're like, "You're going to die." So
Ah, okay.
I'm dying because I saved the moon, and because the moon is actually filled, it's hollow, and there's a lot of Yetis inside. Remember, don't forget about the Yeti moon.
Cheese-eating Yetis up there on the moon.
You got to save them. So, the movie I'm going to see is Blade Runner, and I was thinking about if I was crazy, as he Requiem for a Dream, because that's like a suicide movie. You're like, I just want to die, and then just okay, here you go. But yeah, Blade Runner, because it's about replicants, androids that actually are able to accept their own death. So in the ending, it actually shows you it's like it's okay, all of us die, and Roy Batty kind of gives this very heroic and meaningful poem at the end. So I think Blade Runner would be it.
That's a very, very good answer, Dennis.
Yeah, it's tough because it's one of those things. You go either two ways, right? You go with the uplifting movie that's gonna make you feel good, or maybe you go with a depressing movie. So like, because you know you're gonna die, so it's like, all right, let's get this over with. Ultimately, I will probably pick an uplifting movie. I'll probably pick It's a Wonderful Life.
Nice.
It's just a nice uplifting movie that he's suicidal in that movie, and then he ends up learning what life was like if he hadn't been born.
Clarence, Clarence, I'm getting my wings, Clarence.
So that's my pick.
You guys are lighting the chat board up right now with your picks. Thank you guys so much for that. I'm not taking Star Wars. I'm not taking Return of the Jedi, which is, in my opinion, the most uplifting of any of the Star Wars movies, because I don't want to be upset right at the end when I realize they didn't get the original Return of the Jedi and all they had available at the prison was the special edition. So instead of walking down the Green Mile to Yub Nub, I'm walking down whatever new song, which I don't like as much. I don't want to have that
Or a
feeling.
life song.
Yeah, the Kenny G experience.
I don't need that. Ashley, let's go to you. What if you're on death row?
Yeah.
And I think we all know what for. Yeah. What movie are you watching, and what is your meal while you're watching that film?
Okay, well, first of all, I'm going to start out with sushi with a side of pizza with a side of bread pudding. And then I'd probably watch Mean Girls, obviously, so that I can quote the movie the entire time and annoy the hell out of the person that's about to kill me.
That makes sense.
I thought
to
it
me.
through.
I know you clearly did, and my death row meal is Qdoba shredded beef burrito.
Oh, and a side of nachos. Sorry.
You already have a side of pizza. You want a side of nachos too?
This is my last meal, Mark.
It's one
Let me
meal.
enjoy it.
It's one meal.
Let me sausage to death, all right?
How many restaurants can you go to? You just give me a side order of pizza.
You're supposed to get whatever you want on your last meal. That's what it's supposed to be.
Within reason, guys. It's still prison.
I'm adding nachos on the side from my Cheerios.
Nachos do sound good right now. How much longer do we have in the show? We do have time for live Twitter questions. Let's go to a few of those right now. Ashley, what is up first out there in the Twitter sphere?
Steve Ward writes, greetings from Scotland.
Oi.
Would you like to see a return of more double bills and shorts in cinemas?
I would love to see a return of more shorts in cinemas. Like every time the previews are over and you sit down, you're about to enjoy a Pixar movie. I get pumped to see whatever the short is before it, and sometimes that ends up. It's like the opening band. Sometimes it's like, oh man, that was great. How can the headliner top that? And then obviously, if Van Halen walks on, they do. But like, it's so cool to see just a little tiny story. It's an appetizer. It's a side dish of pizza, if you will. So I'd be up for seeing more shorts. Double bills. It's a long time at the movie theater for me. When I was a kid, I got really excited to go do that. I remember one day we saw Double Bill. We saw Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Ghostbusters 2 the same day, and it was like a great day. But as an adult with things to do, people to kill, I don't know that I have that time. Schnepp?
You know what? I would love to see a return of double features, double bills, because, as a younger guy, I used to go see a double feature. They used to do that a lot more, especially in Chicago and in the East Coast when I was a little kid. And I think it's great. I think everyone needs to relax and slow down with their hectic, crazy rat race life and enjoy two movies. You get a little break in between. You could do that now and just schedule and just see one movie, take a break, and then see another movie. Only problem is you're paying for two films. So I think when theaters used to do those double bill films, it was pretty cool. It gave you you were like, all right, I'm going to go on a Wednesday or Thursday. I'm going to see two movies, and it's just a lot of fun. I think the shorts idea is great. And I would love to see like a Star Wars story short that's 10 minutes in front of a Marvel film. That would be incredible. Or just vice versa. You have like a short like superhero film in front of a Star Wars story. That would be crazy.
Dude, that's $1 million idea right there.
I think they should do that, and it's cross-pollination. Any company that owns a bunch of different franchises, you could do the same kind of thing. I think they used to do this in the 40s and 50s. They used to do a short cartoon. And there's nothing wrong with cartoons. And now a lot of people are like, cartoons are for kids. You could do a really cool short 5-minute, Save the Batman. Do a really cool short, and play that in front of something else that might fit in. If you did that with the Huntsman Winter War, maybe more people would like, I want to see that short, and then you might get a few more people to check out the Huntsman. I think it's a good angle to cross-pollinate, cross-promote, so I'd love to see them bring back the shorts.
Yeah, Dennis, I know you're a huge fan of Schnepp from the time he saved the moon. How about this idea? Are you on board with it?
I'm on board with his talks about the short films and the cross-pollination. The double bill, that's never coming back. I mean, everyone is so specific in the movies that they want to watch nowadays. Theaters aren't going to do it, like, ooh, you pay once and you get to see 2 movies. I just don't see that happening at all. I mean, other than you scheduling your own double bill, double feature. Right. But the shorts is good. Anything under 10 minutes, I think is fine. We're already kind of getting that with Pixar movies, right? We're getting the shorts, 5-10 minute short beforehand and then seeing the full movie. I like that. I
think the issue with the Marvel movies would be whether it's like it technically counts as canon or whether it's like a hint as things to come in the actual movie. Like, for example, remember that short a few years ago, the Punisher one called Dirty Laundry?
Sure.
How cool would that have been to see before, like, Civil War, Just go see it. We're already fans of comic books, so we see this little short, but the whole time, would you be wondering during Civil War, wait, is the Punisher going to... Was that a hint? Is he somehow showing up in this movie? Or what do you think we'd just be accepting, like, oh, that was a different standalone thing than what this is?
I think we'd all accept it as a different standalone thing.
Okay. Then let's make it happen very soon. What's our next question?
Sterling Jones writes, name your favorite acting duos.
Oh, favorite acting duos.
Adam West and Burt Ward as Batman and Robin.
That's not a bad place to start. # Shark Spray. I always thought Mel Gibson and Danny Glover were so good together in Lethal Weapon. It's like I always go to buddy cops. That's where my mind goes. Bruce Willis and Reginald Bell Johnson, right? For a little bit of time. Yeah. Him and Samuel L. Jackson in Die Hard with a Vengeance. So my mind always goes to action movies in particular when it's a duo. But I'm sure there's been a lot in other various genres, particularly comedically. Like right now, it's always fun to see Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill do anything together, particularly the Jump Street franchise. One of the reasons why I'm optimistic, despite all odds, for this Men in Black 23 Jump Street crossover.
Yeah, Paul Newman and Robert Redford in Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, and they did the Sting together.
Yeah.
Definitely Laurel and Hardy. I go back to like comedy duos: Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy, Steve Martin. Who else? There's a lot of duos that.
I really like.
You got Wahlberg and from Daddy's Home.
Farrell.
With the other guys too.
Yeah, they're teaming up. This will be their 3rd team up.
So. Yeah, I really like. I caught recently Thelma and Louise again. Susan Sarandon and Gina Davis were awesome in that, and Amy Poehler and Tina Fey are two that great. Baby Mom I thought was hysterical. I'm still waiting for the next movie like that. Like I was excited about the one where they're about sisters. Right. I was gonna say, what was that movie called where they were sisters?
Right. Sisters.
Yeah. So I'm waiting for the next great one of those. But that's a good question. Tweet us your duos right now. What's up next?
KDJ writes, do you think the amount of hate Jennifer Lawrence and Bryan Singer get from some fanboys is unjustified?
Yeah, I think for the most part. I mean, look at what Bryan Singer has done with X-Men. I actually had a conversation with somebody this weekend when I was on the road about how they loved First Class, and then they thought X-Men just went back to being Bryan Singerized. And I'm like, what do you mean? You mean like really good? Because it was. Like, I thought First Class was great, but also the Days of Future Past was amazing, and I'm looking forward to Apocalypse. As far as Jennifer Lawrence goes, I think a lot of the hate she gets is totally unwarranted.
Yeah.
I do not understand it at all. I can understand if you saw Joy and you're like, yeah, she was good, but not Oscar good. I thought she was tremendous, but it's like just crapping on her because you think she maybe looks like she's mailing in Apocalypse a tiny bit. Everybody, De Niro and Pacino mail in performances all the time, and they've earned it somehow, and Jennifer Lawrence has it. She works her butt up. She's really great in interviews. She always promotes the hell out of whatever movie she's doing, so I think she's doing it great right now. So, yeah, I guess I think most of the hate's unwarranted. Dennis?
Yeah, but, I mean, I can understand if they don't feel like... And I disagree because I do like the Bryan Singer films and I like Jennifer Lawrence, but there are a lot of fans out there who don't like the X-Men movies because they aren't faithful enough to the comic books, and maybe they feel like Jennifer Lawrence isn't the mystique that they want. And I think that's totally fine as long as it's not coming from a place of like the whole I see this person too much. I find that argument a little bit, I don't know. I just never buy into that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I never let that get to the point of hatred, though.
Yeah.
Like, if I get sick of somebody, it's like, okay, I'm just not going to go see that movie.
Exactly.
You know, and which, you know, you want to consider if you're making a movie, don't put this person in everything.
Sure.
Don't, you know, Sam Worthington this a few years ago when he was in, like, every movie popping up. But, Schnepp, I know you're a huge fan of Jennifer Lawrence. You just thought in Apocalypse it looks like she's not trying 100%.
Yeah, that's what I said about the review. That doesn't mean I hate Jennifer Lawrence. I think she's an incredible actress. I mean, everything I've seen her in, pretty much, she's incredible in. I mean, she's won Oscars. From Winter's Bone, her debut, to, you know, the most recent, you know, film before X-Men Apocalypse. It's just, you watch this and you're like, I've already seen her play Mystique 2 other times. It just feels like in this one, she's just, her line delivery is flat. And I don't know if that's part of like what's happening to her as a character in the movie, and it'll make sense when I see the movie. It's like, oh, all these things have happened that have made her like completely devoid of you know, her life energy has been destroyed or whatever. I mean, it might make more sense. And I think Bryan Singer is the key to why X-Men, the movie franchise, is such an amazing hit. I mean, you take him out, you get Last Stand. So we already got that flavor of an X-Men movie without Bryan Singer or someone in that same category. Bryan Singer coming back. Matthew Vaughn, also an amazing director, amazing filmmaker, did do us a favor with First Class. Bryan Singer took the baton and gave us an even better film, I thought, with Days of Future Past. So I don't have any problems with Bryan Singer and his X-Men universe. I think when he came to the X-Men, that was a perfect fit. So
that's a consensus here. It's stop hating them so much. Go outside, the sun's shining, smell some roses. Okay, Ashley, let's do one more Twitter question, then call it a day.
Okay, the X-Files writes, what is your favorite guilty pleasure film genre? Mine is the teen sex comedy genre.
the teen sex comedy genre. Is there a teen
American
sex?
Pie, I guess?
Yeah, American Pie. Porky's is a great one.
Yep.
Yeah, that actually is a really good genre. I guess Bachelor Party, they were a little bit older.
Sure.
But yeah, there's some raunchy teen fests out there. My favorite guilty pleasure, it's got to be early 90s action movies. It's got to be like Van Damme. I was never a huge Seagal guy. Like, I can get into the movies now more than I did with his kids. I just never liked Seagal. He just, like, something about the way he was, like, just trying to stare through you and, like, the ponytail and, like, he just kept, like, looking pudgier and pudgier, yet he was still this like ass kicker. And I don't know. I was always on the Van Damme train. So yeah, Van Damme movies like Hard Target, Double Impact. It's just a Time Cop. They're fun to me, and they should have won Oscars. Dennis, guilty movie pleasures. What do you got?
Oh, that's tough. I'm not sure. I mean,
do you hate all movies that are like guilty? Like you're like, does it have to be a good cinematically critically acclaimed film?
I mean, I'll watch some teenage comedies sometimes. I just watched, what was that one called? The Duff or whatever. It was on HBO or Showtime. I was like, I'll try it out, you know, like I'll give it a shot, and I thought it was okay. So I'll give those a little more of a pass. Yeah,
the To-Do List was with Aubrey Plaza. I like that a lot too. What do you got, Schnepp?
I like 80s science fiction, fantasy, freaky films. So I even go like 70s, 80s, early 90s.
Like Crawl right in your wheelhouse?
Crawl, or like some kind of low budget where like we didn't barely had enough money, but now we're in a spaceship, you know, stuff like that. I love those kinds of films for some reason.
And I know a movie that I haven't checked out yet, but you guys both love watching is The Room, right? That's got to be the ultimate guilty pleasure.
Well, you know what? It's for me, it's a guilty pleasure. It's not like I didn't need to go see it a million times and throw sporks at the theater or whatever. You know, it's like there's a lot of the one and done guilty pleasures where you're like, all right, I've heard about this. Like, and there's other ones where, like, you know, when I was like a teenager and I was working at a movie theater, they had the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I was working at this theater, and they had it every midnight. So it was kind of a lot of fun.
Every midnight they had Rocky Horror Picture Show?
On the weekends. Only on the weekends.
Yeah, but that cleanup must have been ridiculous.
It sucked. But, you know, at a certain point, we had to, like, tell people they couldn't throw things.
Yeah, just like wet rice all over the ground.
Well, no, because people were throwing, like, hot dogs, and it would, like, rip through the screen, and then that ruined it. It was like, sorry, idiots. You throw rice, but now you throw hot dog. Now I have to.
Is Nolan Ryan coming to the screening every
But you know
week?
what was great? Then I got to watch the film with everyone because I had to stand in there and guard. You know, I was like, make sure anybody threw it, I'd be like, toss them out.
What's your, did you ever break? Or like were you like a royal guard? You just had like this stone face the whole time?
Oh, did I start dancing and like doing the time warp and stuff?
Yeah.
No comment.
What's your Schnepp guard face? What's Enforcer Schnepp look like? Do not throw a hot dog at the screen when you got that staring at you.
The Room, though, it's not a genre. It's like it transcends genres.
Right.
It's so bad that you can't compare it to anything else.
It's freakish and strange in its own right, not even cinematically.
See,
it's
when you watch it with us and when we do the commentary, you're gonna see it and you'll be like, well, I can't put that in a category, or you can't say, oh, I want to see another movie like that. It's like there is no other movie like that.
It's impossible to make The Room 2 unless it's like it starts out inside the moon with him hanging out with a bunch of Yetis.
Okay, look, I'll take your guys' word for it. I will see it. I will do the commentary. Until then, I'm sticking with Independence Day and Hard Target as my favorite guilty pleasures. That's all the time we have for Collider Movie Talk today. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I want to thank everybody both behind the camera and in front of it hanging out with me and going to Denny's right after the show. First up is our own Denny, Dennis Tzeng. Where can we find you, bud?
Well, you can find me on the Game of Thrones review that we did last night for the season 6 premiere. You can find that on our channel. Also, I'll be on TV Talk later today and on Twitter @ThinkHero and Instagram Dennis.tzng.
Schnepp, you had a stumble on Friday. Is there anything you want to say about that now that you have the platform? And then where can everybody find you?
Yeah, Jim Sock. It was great fighting you. We'll see each other again in the ring, son. What's up? You and JLX. Me and Dennis have got a little proposal for you probably in the next couple weeks.
That's neither one of their names, but hell of an effort.
JBL, whatever the dude's name is. Him and Flimps.
JBL Speakers.
Yeah, and Flimpslock or whatever the guy's
You're getting
name is.
further away.
I know his name. It's Flimpy. Flimpsis. Whatever. Good fighting you. You're a good dude. You won by luck. I'm coming after you. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram @John Schnepp, and check out my show Collider Heroes on this network. It'll be on tomorrow.
Ashley Mova, where can the kids find you until you go to prison?
You guys can find me on Twitter and on Instagram Ashley Mova. Happy Monday, guys.
And make sure you guys check out AMC Theaters, amctheaters.com. That's where you go for all the latest box office and Showtime information. Make sure you guys bookmark collider.com. That's the website we go to a lot of times to get our news stories. They're breaking stories all the time. This is a coffee cup, and it goes right there. Make sure you, I'm spelling this too, Collider Video. Subscribe there on YouTube. This weekend I'll be at the Albany Funny Bone in New York. Upcoming days include Minneapolis at Acme Comedy Club and the Houston Improv the week after that. Mark Ellis Live is the place to go online for everything that you want good in life. Okay, my name's Mark. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.
Every day
Hey guys, if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll help you stay up to date with everything we've got going on here at Collider.